Would you ever have Donald Trump on your show?
No.
What if he asked you?
No.
What about Melania? Would you have her on your show?
Melania? What's to talk about what? She can barely speak English.
What do you think about her as the first lady?
Exactly what I think about him as the first man. Nothing. I don't respect either one of those people.
If he were here right now, what would you say to him?
Off. I mean, gross. He is the grossest. Physically, emotionally, mentally. Those statues they made of him were accurate. I bet you that is what he looks like naked, with a little grape in between his legs.
More vicious than his failed casinos, Chelsea Handler just destroyed Donald Trump on live television. Trump was dragged like a bad wig in a hurricane. His ego, his lies, and whatever was on his head were all roasted by her. His spray tan began to melt in real time. Chelsea just served him a lawsuit hotter than a McDonald's. So if you enjoy watching America's loudest loser get verbally abused, fasten your seatbelt.
Eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
The only dead pet I know about is the one on your head, and she mopped the f***ing floor with it.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Why can't you just be happy you'll have somebody to date when you get to prison, girl, huh? He lied about everything. He said he knows nothing about Project 2025. He lied about the 2020 election, and he lied about IVF.
I have been a leader on fertilization.
No, you're not. That's Nick Cannon, asshole. But Trump's biggest lie was about his health care plan.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I don't want a world leader with concepts of a plan. A concept of a plan is what I have when I...
Everyone's preferred method of throwing tantrums. Man Baby was doing what he does best, which is to make up numbers, talk incoherently, and demonstrate that his brain can process information as quickly as a potato. Convinced that he was the smartest person in the room, he was thrashing around in his typical jumble of half-baked lies and full-blown delusions. Let's face it though, he has never even been the smartest person in a room that was empty. Chelsea Handler came in like a wrecking ball, slathered with unadulterated truth, just when he thought he could get away with verbally abusing him again. Oh boy, did she not hold back.
The New Republic has a theory that Donald Trump may have contracted syphilis in the 1980s, around the time he looked like this. And Melania looked like this.
If you find this entertaining, please subscribe. Chelsea didn't simply make fun of him. She seasoned him, cooked him slowly, and then served him on a platter with a side order of embarrassment. As if he were attempting to become the first human traffic cone in history, she dragged his spray tan, which somehow keeps getting more orange. She made fun of his Twitter tirades, his incapacity to speak clearly, and his diet, which is only fast food and resentment. Like a raccoon scuttling through a dumpster fire, she smashed into his legal issues. Only in this case, the dumpster fire is his entire life. When you thought Chelsea might calm down, she hit him harder than the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. Even his lawyers likely tried to protest. But let's face it, they're too busy filing bankruptcy papers. Trump wasn't simply roasted by the end. He was overcooked to a crisp and left out like a Trump steak that had gone bad. He would currently be wrapped in gold-plated gauze if words could cause bruises.
Putin Trump, who the majority of Americans think is a huge fucktard.
Now let's discuss Trump's intelligence, or what remains of it. Chelsea made the obvious clear. Even a dictionary would give up trying to translate the man's jumbled speech. Even though he's historically awful at everything, you can't even form a coherent sentence without rambling on about how he's the best at everything. He could be asked about the weather, for example, turn it into a tirade about how he won the most important election ever, even though he didn't win it. Chelsea made it apparent that Trump is not merely ignorant. Even lost socks in the laundry have a better sense of direction than he does.
Ivanka was sold to us as the progressive voice of reason who would be able to moderate Trump's crazy impulses. But whenever he does anything reprehensible, she skips town. Like when he proposed the first Muslim ban, she went skiing in Aspen. When he gutted funding for Planned Parenthood, she went skiing in Whistler. When he fired James Comey, she went skiing on the powdery slopes of Mount Kofifi. Ivanka was supposed to be our Wonder Woman, but now we're just wondering where the fuck that woman is. And we know she's not skiing because it's June and also because her dad deported all the snow.
Get one thing straight, Donald Trump could be at a charity event for orphaned puppies. And instead of talking about, orphaned puppies, he'd pivot to nobody loves puppies more than me. I have the biggest puppy fan club. The best people say I'm the top dog. The world could literally be on fire, and he'd still be bragging about the time he had the biggest crowd in the history of crowds. Spoiler, he didn't. Enter Chelsea Handler, who looked at Trump's circus and said, "Honey, your ego isn't just a personality trait. It's a cry for help." Chelsea didn't just roast Trump, she diagnosed him. "He's a malfunctioning robot programmed for self-adoration," she quipped. "His entire operating system is just a loop of me, and everyone's out to get me." And oh, did she drag his favorite hobby, playing the victim. If whining were an Olympic sport, Trump would have a gold medal, and a second gold medal for lying about it. Chelsea fired. Every loss? A conspiracy? Every criticism? Fake news? Every consequence? A witch hunt. At this point, the only thing Trump hasn't blamed for his failures is the reflection in his gold-plated mirror. And that's only because self-awareness is as foreign to him as humility. Chelsea's takedown was surgical. Real leaders take responsibility. Trump? He flees accountability faster than he fled the draft, she said, skewering his "I'm a healthy bone spur" excuse. He's the human equivalent of a participation trophy, loud, empty, and convinced he's the main event. But the real comedy? Trump's inability to laugh at himself. He's so thin-skinned, he'd sue a cactus for looking prickly, Chelsea joked. Meanwhile, the rest of us are over here like, dude, your hair's on fire and you're still arguing about crowd sizes. Asterisk, and let's not forget the witch hunt bit. At this rate, Trump's gonna blame witches for the fall of Rome, the Dark Ages, and the fact that his hair dye is 2 shades too orange. Chelsea deadpanned. It's always someone else's fault, usually someone with a functioning moral compass. The best part? Trump's response is already predictable. He'll retreat to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social, and type something like Chelsea Handler is a radical leftist bum, because nothing says I'm secure like all caps rage tweeting at a comedian. Before you go, if you're here for the burns, hit subscribe. Over 98% of you freeload like Trump at a buffet. We see you, Donnie. Final thought, Trump's presidency wasn't just a disaster. It was a masterclass in how not to be a human. And Chelsea, she's the teacher holding up the answer key.
Donald Trump will be saying to his kids and Melania's body double sitting in his gold-plated dining room. Trump has a lot to be thankful for. On his recent trip to Asia, he got to play this super fun game of Red Rover in the Philippines with Duterte. Red Rover, stop sending Mexicans over. He's also thankful that Melania was able to find a new friend when she was over in Beijing. It turns out she's as eloquent on Twitter as her husband. After meeting the panda, Melania tweeted, "Wonderful to met Gugu."
Then came the physical roast. And folks, this was brutal. Chelsea didn't just take the gloves off, she threw them into a fire fueled by Trump's dignity and danced on the ashes. First up, Trump's complexion. Chelsea didn't mince words. "The man looks like he lost a wrestling match with a bag of Cheetos," she said, squinting at a photo. "That orange glow isn't a tan, it's a warning sign. Somewhere a spray tan technician is running from the authorities because whatever they did to Trump has to be illegal." She even theorized his color palette was the result of a tragic accident involving a self-tanner factory, an out-of-control leaf blower, and a Oompa Loompa who didn't get the memo. Then the hair. Chelsea was just warming up. "His hair isn't a hairstyle, it's a cry for help," she deadpanned. It's like a science experiment gone wrong. Imagine a squirrel caught in a wind tunnel while clutching a family of blonde guinea pigs for dear life. She speculated that every morning a team of engineers, meteorologists, and magicians gather to strategize the swirl. They probably use a combination of superglue, wishful thinking, and a Ouija board to make it look like it's defying gravity. But Chelsea wasn't done. "I'm not even convinced it's hair," she mused. "It's an elaborate bird nest that a very confused bald eagle calls home. You could hide a family of raccoons in that thing. And let's be real, the Secret Service probably checks it for contraband before every speech." The crowd roared, because who needs subtlety when you can compare Trump's head to a glow-in-the-dark Halloween decoration and his hair to a failed DIY project from Home Depot? Trump's response? predictably unhinged. He'll retreat to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social, and type something like Chelsea Handler is jealous of my natural beauty, because nothing says I'm secure like rage tweeting at a comedian who compared your hair to a tornado in a wig factory. Before you go, if you're here for the burns, hit subscribe. Over 98% of you freeload like Trump at a buffet. We see you, Donnie. Trump's face could be a before ad for sunscreen and his hair, the after ad for a tornado. Thanks, Chelsea, for reminding us that comedy is the best revenge.
Tired of all the infighting. You know he hates when people fight. He absolutely hates it.
I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. I'm gonna bomb the shit out of him. Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees, I promise. Yeah, throw him out. Throw him out into the cold. Go home to mommy. Go home to mommy.
Good job.
And Nora around, but Chelsea really did not hold back when it came to taking down the suits. Why does every Trump suit appear to have been made for a man who has been surreptitiously slipping dinner rolls into his pockets? Was the question she posed. He seems to be constantly preparing for a food shortage, really. Each of his suit jackets resembles a cross between a Mar-a-Lago tablecloth and a parachute. Chelsea jokingly said that Trump would be flying over Florida in a matter of seconds, flapping like a startled flamingo, if someone ever pulled the ripcord on one of those jackets. Chelsea then added the long, bulky ties. Why are Trump's connections so extensive? Does he have secret documents down there? When the FBI shows up again, does he use them as emergency repellent gear? Chelsea hypothesized that his ties are a secret plea for assistance. Trump desires to be saved by a tailor who has a dream and a measuring tape.
Maria, about Maria Callas. And Honora.
Out, followed by the hands. Oh, the hands. Chelsea was aware that she needed to go there. She pointed out that Trump's small hands couldn't reach above the stalks, so he would never be able to find his way out of a corn maze. Shaking hands with Trump must be awkward, a little unnerving, and leave you wondering how this person has access to nuclear codes, Chelsea said. It's like a toddler handing you a crayon. Chelsea even paused to comment on Trump's trademark pout. His tight-lipped, perpetual scowl makes him appear as though he's just lost a staring contest with a microwave. Why does he always look like he just bit into a lemon and realized it was actually a battery? Chelsea speculated that he may be permanently perplexed that the world does not revolve around him, or that his expression is the result of decades of suppressing sneezes. By the time Chelsea was finished, Trump had lost all of his dignity and appeared to be a human piñata from a 6-year-old's birthday party.
Kushner, if they don't take care of this, he will. Which means he's gonna go golfing and let someone else figure it out.
He seized the vehicle by the hand. Naturally, no Chelsea Handler or roast of Trump wouldn't be complete without discussing his wealth, or rather his complete lack of it. Trump's financial records read like a tragic comedy, and Chelsea made it clear that he boasts about his wealth in the same way that a college student boasts about owning a car that is actually their mother's. If bank statements had the ability to cry, he would be crying into a mountain of unpaid court costs. Chelsea brought up the fact that Trump's notion of business success keeps failing, to the point where monopoly boards are requesting restraining orders. The only thing Trump has mastered, according to Chelsea, is the art of persuading gullible people to fund his lifestyle. The man has lost more money than a drunk tourist in Vegas who believes they have a system, but he still struts around like the financial Einstein of our time. Money is thrown at him by his supporters more quickly than ketchup is thrown at a wall. Chelsea couldn't help but wonder if Trump simply bills his supporters for patriotism fees, or if he even pays for his own McDonald's. In any case, Trump would be the richest person on the planet if wealth were determined by lawsuits and poor choices.
Even more of a bag than we originally thought. We heard some truly insane testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Cassidy painted a very unflattering portrait of Trump's behavior on January 6th, including the little bitch fit he threw when the Secret Service wouldn't let him go to the Capitol during the riot.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel." We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol.
And when grabbing the steering wheel didn't work, he grabbed the car by the
Part is that Chelsea did more than just make fun of Trump. She seasoned him with pure sarcasm, cooked him slowly over an open flame, and presented him with a platter of harsh, cold reality. She made it very evident that Trump's popularity is fading more quickly than one of his bankrupt casinos. Like his spray tan after a rainy round of golf, his influence is waning and the world is changing. But oh no, Trump is still out there, begging not to be fired like a contestant on The Apprentice. Let's also discuss his fan base. When Chelsea pointed out that Trump's remaining supporters are the human equivalent of spoiled milk, sour, dubious, and best left alone, she didn't mince words. His most loyal fans now range from conspiracy theorists to those who believe the moon landing was a hoax, to men who still feel their high school football coach should have included them in the game. Chelsea made it abundantly evident that Trump is not at the forefront of a movement. He is in charge of a Facebook comment section that has gone crazy.
Who is this book for? And my theory is that Ivanka cut and pasted this opus together for her daddy. Because nobody on the planet needs this useless collection of gibberish more than that fat clown. For instance, on page 109, Ivanka writes, "Don't leave early or take time off. Too late."
Meanwhile, Chelsea Handler is out here thriving, dropping truth bombs like they're hotcakes at an all-you-can-eat Bucha Faux sale brunch. Fauci not invited. While Trump rages on Truth Social about fake news witch hunts, Chelsea's busy living rent-free in his head, redecorating the place with neon signs that scream, "This guy is a walking, talking cautionary tale." Chelsea didn't just call Trump out, she installed a billboard in his psyche. "Welcome to the Trump Museum of Failure. Exhibit A, the human infomercial." Because let's be clear, Trump isn't a political mastermind. He's a what happens when a reality TV star mistakes himself for a genius. PSA, a living, breathing infomercial for how to fail upward and take everyone down with you. Chelsea also highlighted Trump's incredible talent for failure. This man has taken more L's than a malfunctioning GPS. Trump Airlines crashed. Trump Steaks, well done in the worst way. Trump University, a diploma mill with extra lawsuits. The only thing he's successfully built is a fan base that treats him like a messiah despite overwhelming evidence he's just an overcooked Cheeto with a Twitter addiction. The emperor has no clothes, Chelsea quipped, and he should really stop standing that close to the tanning booth. She's the comedian equivalent of a whistleblower shouting into the void that the only thing gold-plated about Trump is his delusion.
Trump's also thankful for the entire season of autumn because it's that special time of year when all of the leaves change colors and they fall to the ground.
The world is embracing progress, but Trump is stuck in a cycle of complaining about lawsuits and telling his followers that everything is against him even when he's playing golf. Chelsea's observation that Trump's future is looking about as bright as a candle in a hurricane is perhaps the most brutal moment. Chelsea is out here thriving, and she practically created a PowerPoint presentation titled "Why Trump is Yesterday's News." Chelsea is here to remind everyone that despite Trump's continued yelling into space, history will remember him as the world's loudest cautionary tale rather than as a leader. To be honest, that's probably the only legacy he can't overcharge for and put his name on.
When Trump's Attorney General Bill Barr told him there was no evidence of election fraud.
The valet had articulated that the president was extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall, which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off the wall to help the valet out.
Melania also has to wipe things off the wall after their annual Mar-a-Lago penetration.
Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage.
It's going to take a lot of courage when you're in prison doing some full-throating of your own, sister. Love it.
By the end, Trump was left looking like a broken animatronic at a defunct Chuck E. Cheese, glitching, confused, and desperately screaming into the void that he's still relevant, folks. Chelsea Handler didn't just land jokes, she obliterated the biggest punchline of them all. Donald J. Trump, he's not a leader, he's a living Ryko statue. Chelsea quipped, tying a bow on 4 years of chaos. A human dumpster fire who mistakes arson for charisma. Every failure was fair game. Chelsea's genius. She didn't just mock Trump, she weaponized truth. He's a cautionary tale about what happens when you let a man who thinks kafif is a word anywhere near a nuclear football, she said, grinning. He's the human equivalent of a do not resuscitates order, but with worse hair. And Trump's response, a masterclass in delusion. He'll retreat to Mar-a-Lago, fire up Truth Social, and type Chelsea Handler is a radical leftist bum, because nothing says I'm in control like a man whose ego is more fragile than his hairpiece. But the real win, Chelsea reminded America that Trump isn't a genius or a messiah, he's a cosplay villain who's more expired coupon than commander-in-chief.